Shalom unto the elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that teach and that rule well today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar, coming at you with another quick lesson. And right before I get into this lesson, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, and also to the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the heathen nations that may take on the physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, I'm just going to get into a quick lesson. As you can see, I have the video queued up on the screen, okay, which is all one of the beloved brothers amongst the ministry, okay. As you can see, his channel, Arrows of the Nation 144. And you can see the title that he gave, okay, this video. It says, these women know they are in trouble, and some will get in line. Some will get in line. Those who don't will perish. Okay, yeah, because we now, we coming to the time, okay, of the downfall of this place, America, which is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, okay, mainly. And also we coming to the time of the approaching of Jacob's trouble, okay, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, when it comes to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, as Yahweh Shai is visiting the earth, which he made through these plagues, or through plagues that the Lord is about to bring upon the earth, in particular, mainly this place, America, man. Okay, because this place is on the verge of a financial crash. Okay, you seeing, how, Donald Trump is moving, cutting certain, federal aids, when it comes to, government benefits, okay? And, we're seeing job losses, homeless, poverty, okay, the approaching of food shortages, okay, outbreaks, pestilence, civil unrest, okay, basically, to round it all up, all hell is about to break loose when it comes to this place, America, okay? Who's going to be affected the most? Okay, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? Even though all nations are going to be affected, but Lord only focusing on Israel, because salvation is only for Israel. And at this time, the elect, which were considered the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's destined to be saved, that's of men, women, and children, okay? Because according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8, 2/3 are going to be cut off, man. Okay, so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American descent, okay? When it comes to men, women, and children, okay? And, that's what, the Lord set up the prophets to give that forewarning out here on the highways and byways, man. Okay, to prophesy, man. Okay, but only the elect is going to repent, okay? But in the times we coming into, who going to be troubled the most? These women, okay? All these nations, okay, when it comes to these women. But in particular, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American woman, okay? Especially the Negro woman, okay? Because, through America, okay, they push feminist, okay, woman empowerment, okay, independence, okay. These women have all the perks, okay, on these different government programs, okay, such as EBT, okay, Section 8, and when it comes to alimony, okay, when it comes to the divorce court, okay, and especially our women, they have the notion that if we can be off better by ourselves, okay, being independent, okay, we don't need no man, especially when it comes to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man, okay, the divide, the division amongst the Israelites when it comes to the family household, which that goes into the curses, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 16 through 68, okay. But now we coming to the point, these women, is about to get a wake-up call, man. Okay, when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American women. Okay, in the times we're coming into, when all hell break loose, Yahweh Shem Shai is raising up the Israelite man, in particular, the elect, okay, that the Lord is going to be with. Because the Israelite man is going to be a guide, okay, until eventually the rest of the elect, okay, which considered, the women, okay, and, and the children. Okay, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to make the Israelite man of the elect a covering. Okay, when all hell break loose, man. But majority of our women, because we know that when it comes to the ratio of men and women, okay, women make up most of the ratio, okay, because, there's more women than men, okay, and the Lord created that way, okay, but, majority of these women in the world, especially here in America, that have been Americanized, especially our women, okay, they about to face the time of judgment, man, okay, the majority of our women, they pure wicked, man, okay, all the wickedness that you see of the so-called black woman. Okay, all the, social media and videos coming out now, they're exposing them. Okay, as Elder Apostle Tahar call them hyenas. Okay, hey, because, they just straight up wicked. Okay, majority of our women. But now we coming into time, okay, when all hell is about to break loose, hey, they about to feel, feel pain. Okay, but let me go ahead and play this video because it's a short video. Now I'm gonna get some scriptures, and I hope that the lesson is edifying. So let me go ahead.
People legit think I'm joking when I say I am not going to be here for the fallout. Like, I'm not built for that type of life. I'm not built to forage for my own food, to clean my own water, to grow my own vegetables. I wasn't born during that period. Okay? I'm happy to go with the first wave. Perfectly happy. So, you don't have to worry about me being Katniss out here. I go to Core Power and Pilates to look good and to feel good and to be healthy. Not to survive an apocalypse or World War III. That's just not the life I want to live.
Hey, you see Eve, when we say Eve going into the so-called black woman, okay, the Israelite woman, okay, but, she, went up there, vent a little bit or, express her feelings about, hey, the troubles of times that are ahead. Okay, these women, they starting to see it. Okay, all these women, especially the so-called black woman. Okay, because, she was saying she not built, okay, for, the time of adversity, in a roundabout way. Okay, she's so used to being comfortable. Hey, she said herself, but just as the average so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American woman. Okay, she's so, so comfortable when it comes to the liberation of women here in America. Okay, to do whatever they want. Okay, these women always known to, like I said, having the perks. Okay, partying. Okay, having the finest things. Okay, and living lavish. Okay, and so now more and more approaching the time of, trouble. Okay, these women don't, ain't got no guidance. Okay, like I said, a lot of these women, okay, single parents or single mothers. I say single mothers. Okay, they have a lot of children from different men. Okay, depending on this government. Okay, and if they do have a job, they work their job and everything when it comes to their income. Okay, but everything's coming to a halt. Okay, and these women starting to feel it. Okay, so they so used to, and the women is the weaker vessel, man. Okay, so all that, tough, independent women, okay, a woman, okay, strong black woman, yeah, all that's about to be done away with, man. Okay, dissing men. Okay, you see these certain podcasts now when it comes to these dating shows like Pop the Balloon. Okay, you got women popping the balloon on the men due to his, his appearance. Okay, hey, but when it comes to that time, man, a man's appearance ain't gonna matter in that time. Okay, these women gonna look for protection. a covering, okay? And the only ones that's going to be have that coverage or that hedge is the Israelite men, mainly the elect men, okay? Because majority of our men, they're going to be destroyed, man. When it comes to the 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American men, okay? And all hell break loose, man. And she already said herself, you know, in the video, is she ready to go with the first wave, man? Okay? It show you that, you know, if they can't live it up in this society, and this society crumble, and that's it. They ain't want nothing else. Okay? Because they believe the whole time in feminists, okay, physicism, okay? They believe that they can be independent and dependent on this government, man. Okay? But now you're starting to see, okay, the coming of the trouble for these women, man. Okay, so that was Eve, okay, a so-called black woman. And so let's continue on.
Not entirely sure how to plan my life right now. Like, can I start saving to take my kids to Disney World?
And so now you're hearing the voice of a appear to be a Edomite, okay? Yeah, but these heathen nations, they gonna feel it too, okay? Because now they starting to feel the squeeze of the economy, okay? When it comes, especially Esau, Edom, okay? When it comes to their household, okay? Because you got Edomite women that have husband, okay, and have family, but they starting to feel the, you know, the struggle, okay? And they got, you know, majority of them got men or husband, okay? Yeah, but they're gonna get caught up into the wrath of the Lord, okay? Esau, Edom, and these heathens, okay? Hey, but you know, as the, you know, so-called black women, I gotta say, they always want to be single, or always being independent, or want to go from man to man, have multiple men, okay, which is wickedness, okay? Hey, so the Lord definitely bringing judgment upon them, okay? But when it comes to these average American Edomites and these heathens that's over here, they got a family, hey, they starting to feel, you know, the pain, okay? And she gonna explain herself as well, okay, how it's hard now here in America, okay, you know, trying to be a wife, okay, and a mother, okay, to a husband, and, you know, and a wife to a husband, and a mother to her children, okay? Yeah, but all of them feeling the squeeze now, man, okay, when it comes to the total of these women here in America.
Or is the world going to end? Like, should I plan to redo my house, or am I going to have to abandon my house to move to another country? Like, it's weird that these are real thoughts that I'm having, and it's also really sad. But, like, is anybody else in this mental space where it's like, I don't really know what life is right now? And is this real life? And can I plan a vacation? Should I plan a vacation? Like, should I be taking a vacation right now while people are literally disappearing? And people are dying. And it's just, I don't know how to live normal life when life is anything but normal, when the world is anything but normal. And I think there's some, like, new normal that I have to figure out, that, like, we collectively have to figure out, but I'm not sure what that looks like. And as, like, summer is approaching, I'm thinking about summer plans. I'm thinking about what that looks like. We have plans to cross the border into Canada. My husband is Canadian, and we're having to even rethink that, because, I mean, what does that look like for him, recrossing as even just like a Canadian immigrant who has a green card? And is that even a good choice for us at this time, even though he is white and English speaking as an immigrant right now? Like, is it safe even for anybody? And we have privilege. We have loads of privilege. We have so much privilege. The world.
Yeah, but all that privilege is about to be taken away, even when it comes to you know, these so-called white privilege, or Edomite privilege, right? We call them. Okay, so she's thinking about, you know, yeah, you see the difference between the two. Okay, she appeared, to be an Edomite. Okay, because she's saying her husband white. Okay, but she had she, like I said, had the appearance to be an Edomite. But she talking about the privilege. Yeah, but you see the difference between the two. Okay, Eve, the first clip that the brother put up, and she talking about, how she used to being comfortable and living it up. And she don't know what she can do, when all that's taken away. Okay, but she ain't make mention of no man. Okay. Yeah, but when it comes to her, okay, the second woman, okay, she talked about her husband, okay, taking her, used to going to Disneyland with her children, okay, due to their privilege. Talking about, trying to cross the border to go into Canada to get away from the chaos that's coming to America. She talking about vacation. Okay, something that these women are used to, man. Okay, living it up. Okay, these women that's by themselves or going on girl trips, okay, or have men and family at homes, back at home, but want to go on girl trips. Okay, mainly our women. Okay, but then you have these heathen nations. Okay, the Edomite families that known always to be being in the spirit of mirth. Okay, or celebrating or going on vacation. Okay, living it up. Okay, but all that's about to change, man. For all these nations, man. Okay, for all these people. Okay, when it comes to like I say, when it comes to these women. Okay, those that single or messing around, going from man to man, or those that even got supposed to have a family that got a husband. Okay, because like I said, a lot of these men is gonna about to be judged, man, at the time of war. Okay, in the time of civil unrest. Okay, because a lot of these men are gonna go out there just trying to survive. Okay, to provide for their family. Okay, a lot of these men gonna be drafted in the war. Okay, you got a lot of men that's into the army, the military, or I'll say the military and the armed military forces. Okay, and when the men get shipped off or go out to provide in those times, okay, it's gonna be a high likely chance they ain't gonna see them no more. Okay, and therefore they're gonna become widows. Okay, those are women that have husbands. Okay, and women that don't have men, yeah, they're gonna be out there to try to provide for themselves. Okay, or seek for a man. Okay, and doing to that as well. Yeah, a lot of these women gonna be judged, man. Okay, because the Lord don't discriminate, man. Okay, yeah, because here in America they put the women on a pedestal. Okay, uplift the women. Okay, the majority of these women, they wicked as all hell, man. Okay, especially our women, man. Okay, because we know Esau, Edom, and these heathens, they women, they wicked. Okay, but here our women supposed to be, they Israelites. Okay, but like I said, due to the curses, okay, the Lord, had the division amongst the Israelite family. Okay, when it comes to the men and the women and the children. Okay, but majority of our women, man, they think they got it all. Okay, you can't tell them nothing. But wait till all hell break loose, man. Okay, let me finish this out.
It's a mess, and it's horrible, and it's icky. And what is our place in it?
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, your place is, eventually, looking to your men, okay, or your husband to be that guy in the times to come, okay? Because it's definitely going to be the time of the Lord judgment. And the Lord set up men, okay, to be that guidance. Like I say, mainly this time, the elect men. Let's get this and this is really going to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American women, okay? We know we got, sisters, okay, the believers, or the, when it comes to certain sisters amongst the truth, that following Israel, okay, mainly the men of Great Millstone, okay, that's being obedient, that being in order, okay, and that's listening, okay, hey, they're gonna be taken care of. Okay, you got certain brothers that have wives, okay, that's involved in their lives, okay, that the Lord set up to be, when it comes to the men, to be a guide unto them, okay, and that's beautiful within itself when it comes to you women, okay, and you got certain women that following along that might not have, okay, a man, okay, but in due time, the Lord gonna give them an Israelite man, okay, those that's in the faith, okay, and you got Israelite women that believe, but they marry unto a man that's a non-believer, okay, but the time gonna come that eventually, if the Lord with her and her husband that's a non-believer, because the scripture says, okay, a non-believer husband, okay, but you got a believing woman or wife, okay, it's gonna come a time where the man eventually gonna, get in line himself, okay, but for majority of you women that's out there that don't have the understanding of the truth, okay, and just out about it in the world, okay, and if they don't come to the repentance on their behalf when it comes to not acknowledging Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and that they know they don't have to need a man in that time, okay, but they not looking forward to that. Yeah, a lot of our women gonna be judged, man, okay, but eventually, hey, when it comes to the elect men, you're gonna have women gravitate, okay, to them, okay, that's Isaiah 4:1, okay, but let me get this. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. And how the Lord is doing it? By the way of the prophets, by the way of his men that's out there on the highways and byways, man. Okay? So the Lord said, rise up, you women that are at ease. Because majority of our women, and totally majority of these women, but I focus on our women. Okay? That is at ease, man. Comfortable in the society. Okay? And it says, many days and years ye shall be troubled. Many days and years ye shall be troubled, ye careless women. For the vengeance shall fail, and the gathering shall not come. Yeah, going into majority of our women that depend on this government. Okay, the government funds. Okay, all this, the system. Okay, that's starting to be, deteriorating, man. Okay, that's going to lead to a lot of these women, okay, trouble. It says, tremble, you women that are at ease. And it says, be troubled, you careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gad sackcloth upon your loins. Yeah, the time of mourning. Okay? And when all hell break loose, man, a lot of our women, as they in the spirit now of mirth and living it up, like I say, girl trips and vacation, receiving certain government funds, even when all hell break loose, okay? And then, they're going to have to need a man in that time, okay? So it says, make you bare and grid sackcloth upon your loins. That could be coming in the time of mourning. As it says in verse 12, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, and for the fruitful vine. Okay, yeah, lament means mourning. Okay, and the teats represent nourishment. Okay, a lot of our women have trust in this government. Okay, to be their nourishment. Okay, even when all hell break loose, man, all that pleasure gonna be taken away. All that pleasant. Okay, and we can see as well, as Elder Apostle Tahar made a mention in this video, okay, a couple of days ago, that we can see due to the lifestyle that these women are into, the pleasure lifestyle, and all hell break loose, and Esau Edom implement that RFID microchip, which is known as the mark of the beast. That's going to be the next way of buying and selling. And we already can see a lot of our women going to take that, man. Okay, and trying to introduce it to their men or their children. Okay, because the men and women and children that take that MOTB, they're going to be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear fire at the peak of the Third World War. Okay, when it comes to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And a lot of our women going to take that, okay? And women in general, okay? The nations in general, okay? But I focus on the Israelites, because salvation is only for Israel. Okay, these heathens, they can already take it and, because the Lord going to bring judgment upon Esau, Edom, and these heathens regardless. Okay, but for the 2/3 of our people that take it, they're going to be judged right along with these heathens. Okay, including men, women, and children. Okay, of the 2/3, man, that take that MOTB. Okay, so we can see majority of our women submitting, okay, to the point that, when it comes to them trying to father more trust in this government, to take that MOTB. Okay, let's get this real quick, because majority of our women, when it comes to the benefits here in America, okay, they have prospered or have pleasure in it. Okay, but now that's being cut. Okay, but it's the 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. And it says, then shall they be in a pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. And that's majority of our women. They don't want to take heed to the men. Okay, especially when it comes to the Israelites. Okay, but those that's outside of the truth. Okay, like I say, majority of our women, the average so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American woman, they want to be in the spirit of, the mind frame of being independent, don't need a man. Okay, and if they do seek for a man, they want multiple men. Okay, which is adultery. Okay, which is whoredom. Okay, because a Israelite woman supposed to be only allotted unto one man. Okay, a man can have multiple women. Okay, Israelite men. Okay, when it comes to the nations, the women of our nation and other nations. Okay, but now we're in a confused place, which is Babylon. Okay, America, because the word Babylon means confusion. Okay, you have the notions, a false notion. Okay, that these women can have many partners, man. Okay, and like I say, majority of our women, they trusting in this place, America, when it comes to this government. Okay, because they can do all the wickedness they want or doing. Okay, and at the same time, okay, have the perks from this government, but all that's getting cut. Okay, and then shall they be in a pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that had cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Yeah, torments. Okay, in this case, our women. Okay, when they ain't got no man in their time, where there's no food to feed themselves or their children. Okay, like I said, all their men go away, they're trying to provide and never come back. Okay, or he get thrown in the concentration camp or get shipped off to the Third World War. Okay, like I said, that's gonna lead to a lot of our women becoming widows, man. Okay, those of our women that's outside of the truth. Okay, like I said, that's when they're gonna really look for a man. Okay, especially ones that gonna catch hell on their own. Okay, from the jump. And it says, and they that had cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. A lot of these women, they're gonna be getting thrown in concentration camps. Okay, and martial law troops. Okay, taking them out. Okay, like I say, famine, pestilence. Okay, they're gonna get caught up in. Okay, grape. Okay, and I say it like that, the RAPE word. Okay, when it comes to these men out here. Okay, more and more in a savage mode. Okay, or martial law troops. Okay, and it says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Okay, especially our women. Okay, because they don't know eventually that Yahweh Shema Shah set up the Israelite men to be that guide. Okay, to be that cover in the times that we're about to approach, man. Okay, mainly elect men. Okay, and once again, that's where Isaiah 4:1 going to take place. Okay, because Yahweh Shema Shah set up the Israelite men over the Israelite woman. Okay, and set up men in all nations over their women. Okay, but our women is mainly the ones that's out of order, man. Okay, and it says, And they that have lost my law, a part of the law, is that when it comes to an Israelite woman, she's supposed to have an Israelite man, okay? To be the house, to be over the household, man, to be a guide. But our women don't want to live up to that standard or live up to that law, so they lost it. They look at it as a disgust. That's what the word lost means, okay? And they that had lost my law, while they had yet liberty, and this the time now, liberty, okay, for you women to take heed to the men of Yahweh Shem Shah before all hell break loose, okay? And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain. Okay, so that's what exactly it's going to be. Okay, and that's for a majority of our women as well. Okay, matter of fact, let me get this. Because the Lord only going to deliver the elect, start with the elect men. Okay, like I said, you're going to have women and children of the elect as well. Okay, but they're going to fall in or come up under the order of the elect men. Because 2/3 of our people, they're going to be judged, man. Well, that's Ezekiel, including women. This is on Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord say, go, and the Lord say unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark on the foreheads of the men that sighed and that cried, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, and that's the elect men. Okay, because that word mark there in the Hebrew, when you go into the blue letter, mean tawab, or tawab, meaning exempt from judgment. And that's starting with the elect men. Okay, and it says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Okay, so this is going into the 2/3, okay, of men, women, and children that's going to be destroyed. Okay, because the Lord going to deliver the elect men, women, and children. Okay, but 2/3 of our people going to be judged, man. Okay, at this time. Okay, which they're going to have to come back in the kingdom. Okay, through the elect, being born through the elect. Okay, and it says, and Lord say, have no pity. Okay, and it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids, okay, and little children and women. And so women ain't present, or children. Okay, they'll show you that Yahweh Shem Shai, that you find out about the God of the Bible. Okay, he's known as the king of terrors too, man. Okay, because they push in this world that God is all love, or women can be the exempt, children is exempt. Okay, now the Lord bring judgment upon all nations, and bring judgment upon any age group, I say it like that, you know. And then it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, okay, and women, okay. And so from the old to the young, okay, men, women, and children are the 2/3 of our people, man. That's going to be judged. And it says, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. It began at my sanctuary, then began at the ancient men which were before the house. Okay, so that mark, once again, tawab in the Hebrew, meaning exempt from judgment. And that's the elect. Okay, starting with the elect men. Okay, because the elect men is going to be the covering. Matter of fact, let's go back to Isaiah chapter 32. Yeah, so we in these times, man. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 2. A man shall be a hiding place from the wind. Okay, the wind represents that when all hell break loose. Okay, as we're approaching the time of Jacob's trouble, and in the midst of Jacob's trouble, leading up to this place destruction. Okay, and the Lord bringing the deliverance. But the Lord say a man shall be a hiding place from the wind. And what's that mean? Okay, the elect men. Okay, a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, and as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And that's going into this place, America, eventually. Okay, so the elect men of Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be a hiding place for the women. Okay, eventually the elect women. Okay, that's going to be joined unto the elect men. Okay, let's get this. Because our women, they want to chase the high value men, and they're looking for a high value man, or they want to chase the pookies and ray-rays, like we say, the thugs, the dope boys, okay, the criminals, okay. Yeah, wait till all hell break loose, man. Okay, those men that they desire, okay, especially the degenerates amongst our men, yeah, they're gonna be judged, man. Okay, and the ones of our women that's wanna, seek to them, they're gonna be judged. But eventually, yeah, elect woman or women gonna be given unto the elect men, and us that's of the hopeful elect. That's what we're looking forward to. Okay, we looking for ourselves to be saved, and we know eventually, the Lord gonna send women our way. Okay, as the apostles and elders always say, for brothers that um, may have a hard time of not having a woman or desiring a woman, hey, wait to Isaiah 4:1. Okay, for us, man, that's our whole focus is to focus on ourselves, this ministry, and Yahweh Shema Shai in due time gonna do the rest, man. Okay, that we are that covering. Okay, and this right here, this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And that's going into this place, America, and these people, especially when it comes to these women. Okay, especially when it comes to you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American women. And it says, verse 12, the point, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge or Ophir. Okay, and that's the elect man. Okay, and so for you women in that time, ain't gonna be no the status of a man when it comes to their money, their looks, okay, their position, okay, of the world, okay. When all hell break loose, man, when it comes to the elect men gonna be more precious than fine gold, than gold, man. Okay, men, okay, elect men, okay, and during that time, the Lord gonna raise certain men up with power, okay, and to be a guide, man. Let's get this, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take a hold of one man, okay? And that's going to happen on this side, man, okay? As well in the kingdom, but definitely on this side. And the word, or the number 7, or the word 7 mean completion. So it's going to be a complete women, okay, that the Lord going to allot it to a brother or elect men, okay, that one elect men, okay, in that time, okay? And it says, in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach. Yeah. And so those women in that time that the Lord had allotted unto those brothers, okay, or the men, okay, and the women gonna follow our suit, man. Follow our order, okay? When it comes, to the men of Yahweh Shema Shai in that time. Okay, because they're gonna see the power of the Lord with his men, okay, or with us, okay. Start with myself, hopefully, or that number, or the hopeful elect, okay. Hey, so in due time, man, the women are gonna get in line, man. Okay, what are gonna take them to get in line when all hell break loose. Okay, but certain of our women, they starting to see it now. Okay, but majority ain't gonna get it till too late. Okay, and eventually those of the elect women gonna take heed. Okay, and those in that time, they they're gonna be given unto one man of the elect. Okay, or that certain individual of the elect. Okay, gonna have, okay, the guidance or be a covering unto those women. Okay, and so that's it on that. Let me see. I end off with this. Michael chapter 7, verse 10. It says, then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which saith to me, where is thy Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the street. Okay, and that's the majority of our women, man. Okay, when it comes to the 2/3, man. Okay, that come against this truth, that scoff and scorn, they non-believers, okay, or the average so-called Negro, Latino, Native American woman, okay, that's totally in the world, okay, they don't need no man, they don't need no guidance, trusting in this system, okay, trusting in these false gods, okay, the idols of this world, okay, when the Lord brings judgment, okay, majority of our women going to be trodden down as the mire of the streets, man, okay, when all hell break loose, okay. Hey, but like I say, there's going to be elect women eventually that's going to be saved through the elect men, okay, because like I said, the 2/3 of our people, they will have to come back in the kingdom, okay, and the only way they can come back in the kingdom is by the way of sex, man, or reincarnation, as the scripture says, being born back in the kingdom, okay, through the elect men, women, and children, okay, or the men, women, and children, or men and women at that time, okay. Eventually, the elect children gonna grow up and be men or women, okay. But the whole point is, as you know, as I said, the 2/3 that perish on this side, and they're gonna have to come back in the kingdom, okay. When it comes to men, women, and children that perish on this side, man, okay, because eventually all Israel is gonna be saved. But at this time, the Lord only concerned about the elect, okay. And when it comes to majority of our women, hey, they ain't gonna make it, man. Okay, when it comes to that, when it comes to the masses, okay, only a small remnant gonna be saved. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the lesson here, and I pray that the lesson will edify. Until next time, Lord willing. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.